I love a rack of lamb. Like, for me, it really is a hero of any meal, you know, because it's not a cheap ingredient, so we've got to do it justice. So, Jacq, can you start by chopping up some rosemary and some beautiful native saltbush? I love it. I've only discovered it since I've got to Australia, and it's become one of my favourite ingredients to cook with. Fresh or dried, and obviously this is fresh, which is a real treat. But I'm just going to chop up some garlic. I'm going to make a rub for the lamb. I'm going to make a butter for the potatoes. And we're utilising the rosemary and the garlic throughout both. Like really sort of traditional flavours with this lamb. Yeah. For me, lamb loves garlic.
It does.
You know, it really does. And it loves rosemary.
Yes.
Like, it's a match made in heaven.
How easy is it to source saltbush?
To be fair, in current day and age, you can get it in most markets. You can 100% get it online. For me, go check out your local beach. Like, it's growing. Yeah, it's growing everywhere. I pick it.
I would never think to do that.
Yeah, you can forage it. It's so easily available. It's native. Okay, so this garlic's nicely chopped.
And how are we going on the butter on this recipe? Is it
To be fair,
full on or?
It's pretty full on. It's pretty full on. This is a classic sort of dish, you know. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. It's a nice piece of meat cooked in a really nice sort of traditional way. And for me, that means butter. So I'm just putting it on a pan, low heat, and I'm just getting that butter in there just to render down, and that's what we're going to brush our potatoes with. I'm going to take some of the garlic, just to drop in there. Almost there on chopped rosemary. That's
bit
great,
finer?
Jacq. A little bit. I'm going to take a little bit now, but you can do the rest a little bit finer.
Sure thing.
So this one is going into my potato sort of butter. And then I used unsalted, so I'm just going to season it with a little pinch of salt and a little squidge of pepper. And then with this marinade, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil in here, just a couple of tablespoons. And again, a little bit of salt and pepper. And just chuck all that rosemary straight in for me, Jacq. So in here now, we've got our saltbush, our rosemary, some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and the garlic.
Yum.
So simple.
Do you find that saltbush works well across lots of different meats? Or?
Yeah, it really does. I find it works well with fish as well, and sauces. Don't be afraid of experimenting with it a little bit. It's just like any sort of herb you'd want to use. I'm just going to rub that now, almost massage it into the lamb. And then we're just going to leave this to sit for about 15 to 30 minutes if you leave it at room temperature. If you want to put it in the fridge, you can get it prepared the night before. Absolutely fine. At least a couple of hours if you're going to put it straight in the fridge, because it'll take longer to soak in those flavours. All right, so we're going to set that aside now. While we get the potatoes ready, I'm making Hasselbacks. People can do this in different ways. Like, traditionally, you would have a chopstick either side just to help elevate it. I find if you just go slowly with your knife, take your time, it's pretty much the same. You're just doing really thin slices to create almost that jagged effect in your potato, which means as you cook it, it will get really super, super crispy, like really light and delicious, and it will soak up all of that butter marinade that we're currently making. So the further down you go, the more flavour you're going to really soak up, and the crispier the finish will be. Pop that in. I'm just using the rosemary as my pastry brush, just to get that marinade in there. Oh, the smell straight away is just garlic, rosemary, and butter. Come on. I'm going to pop these in the oven now at 200 degrees for around 50 minutes to an hour. Each oven's slightly different. Every 20 minutes or so, you can give it another basting if you want. Okay? The more butter you add, the better it will taste. That simple.
Butter is better.
A little bit of salt on top. I'm going to pop it in the oven. So the potatoes are in the oven. Now we're going to go on to our protein and our sauce. So Jacq, if you can dice up the shallots, please. We're going to make a little mustard sauce. I'm going to seal off these beautiful lamb racks. So I'm going to go into the pan first, just a little bit of oil, and then we're going to seal it off. You always want to go in with your meat, like presentation side first. So whichever way you're going to present it, that's what you want to hit. So we're going to go in this side, straight in there. And then we're going to have the rack almost slightly on the angle up so we don't burn those bones. You could foil the bones to protect them. Definitely recommend that. Or you just take it off the direct heat, just so they sit there nicely, so you get a beautiful bone at the end, because that's all part of the presentation. I'm gonna hit it with some salt now, when it hits the pan. And then as it's cooking, I'm gonna introduce butter. Of course, it's me, and we're gonna baste it. Okay, so with the sauce, I've just got some butter in there now. Jack's gonna pop in probably about half those shallots, please. And we're gonna saute down the shallots, get a nice little bit of color in there. This lamb is sealing off really nicely. If you look at this, beautiful color starting to come in. That garlic's getting nicely toasted. I mean, we're rendering the fat. For me, cooking meat like this is my happy place, Jacq. It really is. You get all that beautiful butter and you baste your lamb. And this is when it's so important to have a good pan like this. Almost does half the work for you. You don't have to worry about any issues with sticking. And then I'm gonna pop it in the oven once I turn it over in the same pan. Just makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Can I get the grain mustard?
I just don't think there's enough butter. I think we should just add a bit more.
Don't tempt me, Jacq. Don't tempt me. I'm gonna give this now a quick base, and then we can pop it in the oven. The sauce has reduced down really nicely. We added in the stock and the wine. I'm now just gonna hit this with some cream, bring it back to the simmer, and then this is done as well. We'll season it up, and it will be good to go with our lamb by the time the lamb's rested. Now for the money shot.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth, Jacq.
There's a lot of good smells going on in this kitchen.
Look at that.
Perfectly cooked.
Beautiful medium. You can see the quality of the lamb as well straight away. This is a treat. Really nicely cooked.
I'm eyeing off these potatoes, though. These have my name all over them.
See that gorgeous, beautiful colour, golden crisp. My favourite way to eat, essentially a roast potato, right? But just packed full of flavour.
It's like a hybrid of a chip and a roast potato, I think, a Hasselback, because you get the joy of the crispiness on all of those little thin slices, but it's made so much easier by the fact that it's still a whole potato. And it has the impressive wow factor, which is what this is all about.
It's just the perfect way of describing it, Jacq. And then the sauce, it's so simple, this. So much flavour in there from the mustard and the wine. And I love grain mustard in sauces like this. I feel like it's almost gone out of fashion to use a good grain mustard in a sauce.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
You've outdone yourself.
Oh, thanks, Jacq. Well, let's tuck in and
Yeah.
proof's in the eating.
Are you...
Oh, I'm caveman.
All right.
It's a bone. If I see a bone, I'm never using a knife and fork. I won't double dip.
Go a bit of the sauce.
So tender. The flavour from the saltbush, the rosemary, the garlic.
That is amazing. I've never
delicious.
experienced saltbush like that either. I've had it in different dishes, but never on lamb.
Beautiful.
Really special.
Really is a match made in heaven. Guys, this dish is built to impress. I've got a beautiful burrata dish, guys. So simple. A roasted red pepper pesto, one of my favourite pestos to eat. It's simply delicious and so quick and easy for you to make at home. So I'm just using some good marinated roasted red peppers, about 200 grams, and then a nice kick of garlic. You know I like my garlic, and you need to have garlic in a pesto. And then I'm using some hazelnuts for this recipe rather than the traditional pine nuts, just because different flavour profile, different nut. So I'm using 75 grams of roasted. And then for me, the key ingredient with any pesto is the olive oil. And so important you use a quality olive oil. And I'm using a beautiful Bertolli olive oil today. It's perfect for a pesto. wrap it up with a little bit of cheese. For me, with my pestos, the way I like it, I go equal quantity of Parmesan to nuts. So you get a really nice, beautiful finish. Give it a taste. Beautiful. The sweetness from the peppers, that savory, salty, nutty kick from the hazelnuts, a little bit more olive oil. That's it. Super quick, super easy. Got a gorgeous color to it now as well. Like, I love using different ingredients in pestos. Always your classic flavors, absolutely. But doing something like those roasted red peppers in there just gives you this gorgeous sauce now. We're just gonna drop that down, being quite generous with it. Smooth it out. And then we're gonna pop our burrata straight on top. A little bit more olive oil. And a little bit of salt and pepper for the cheese. I mean, super quick, simple, fresh, delicious, roasted red pepper pesto, burrata, and some incredible olive oil. So tartatins are one of the first things I learned how to make at Le Gavroche. My time with Michel Roux, absolutely. Like, it's a staple in French cuisine. I absolutely love making them, and I love making them sweet or savory. So I'm gonna do a savory version today.
Oh, I'm excited for this. So, what have we got on?
So we're gonna do, basically, we're gonna caramelize off like baby shallots first.
What can I do for you?
You can start on the goat's cheese mousse for me, please, Jacq.
Okay.
So if you grate, I've got two types of goat's cheeses, a hard and a soft.
Yes.
If you grate the hard and then just crumble up the soft.
Okay, I'm
Easy.
on.
So tartatin, one of the most important ingredients, both in the pastry and in the cooking, is my favorite.
Butter.
You can't get around it, especially in French cuisine. Butter is a cornerstone. So we're gonna start off by getting our butter in there first. And I'm gonna be quite generous because I want a really nice color on those onions. And obviously, one of the most important things with a tartatin is when you turn it out, you want it to look pretty. So how you put your onions in is really important. You know, so that presentation, you've got to take the care at the very beginning.
Now, you were telling me before you were a pastry chef to begin with.
Yeah.
At the start of your career.
Yeah, early on in my career.
Yeah.
So I was a pastry chef for, when I was at Royal Hospital Road for about 6 months. I was there for almost 2 years, and the first half of the first year I spent on pastry.
So I love how you've done the arrangement of the onions into the fry pan already, and you just leave them like that to cook in the butter.
We'll leave it to slow cook.
So there's definitely a few little steps to this dish, which if you're a novice to pastry, would you say this is probably something you wouldn't go in with first, but when you're feeling a bit more confident, or do you feel like this is something even for...
Like, obviously, like, if I'm doing this in a restaurant, I'd make the pastry. Yeah. I'm not making the pastry today.
Oh, cool.
I've already made enough pastry for you guys. I'm using shop-bought puff, you know, so it's absolutely easy. And quite quick.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's a quick dish to do when you're buying in the pastry. So, yeah, absolutely no worries about that. So, a little bit of salt in there, a little bit of pepper.
It smells good.
So we're gonna let that slow cook now in the pan, and then I'm just gonna pop it in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes at 200 degrees, let it cook through, and I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna deglass it with sherry vinegar, add the pastry on, pop it back into the oven for about 20, 25 minutes until that pastry's nice and golden, and then we're gonna whip up the mousse. Yum. Right, now our tartatin's in the oven, we're gonna make our mousse. And honestly, it's the easiest mousse recipe ever.
You say that so convincingly, so I'm gonna hold you to it.
So we've got our grated goats.
Okay.
we're going to add in our crumbled soft goats.
Yum.
I'm going to add in some creme fraiche.
So
I love creme
all the
fraiche.
cream, all the goat cheese, it's all happening now.
Yeah, but creme fraiche surely it's slightly better
light,
for you.
you
It's
know?
light. You get the sour notes, it's basically a fancy yogurt, surely. Right, once at this stage, I'm going to add some olive oil. There you go, some good fat.
Yeah, I like it. Bit of unsaturated fat to balance things out a bit.
Not too much, about 50 ml.
Perfect.
And then we're going to season it, and I'm going to pop it in the blender.
Okay.
And that will just basically break down all of those cheeses and form like almost a paste.
Right.
I'm telling you, super easy.
Great.
Look at that beauty.
Oh, I'm
I
so
just-
excited.
I get so excited about tartatans, but then there's always that moment of panic, and I've been doing these for 20 odd years.
Moment of
We
truth.
do the flip.
Yay!
Hey!
Perfect.
There you go. I'm gonna first dress it with just a little bit of rocket.
Oh, we get a little bit of greenery in there. I
Little
like
bit of
this.
greenery.
A little bit of salad. Make some friends with it.
just for you, you know?
Mate.
Little drizzle of olive oil. And then we're gonna do our mousse on top.
Beautiful. Now, obviously, a tomato tartatan is pretty popular with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Could this be something where you could mix things up, and if you had fresh tomatoes on hand,
Absolutely.
little cherry ones pop in there too, and
Go with the season.
boost it? Great.
Yeah.
Mate, what is this? Talk me through it.
This is my cream gun, my whipper, my siphored gun. So look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Just whips that beautiful, no effort mousse. And you just fill the center.
Oh, wow.
There you have it, my onion tartatan with that beautiful whipped goat's cheese mousse. Do you want me to do the honors?
I'd love you to do that. I would hate to ruin the beauty of this tartatan.
I love the crispiness of the pastry all the way through.
It smells amazing. You really get all the smells of the caramelized onion and the herbs. Ooh.
For me, it's like a little pizza slice, you know?
It is.
Look at that.
That's exquisite.
I love the flavour of the goat's cheese, just absolutely softens that onion richness, but it's almost a sweet, sticky onion because of the sherry vinegar coming through as well. Honestly, beautiful dish, guys. You have to give it a try. All right, are you ready for this?
There's a lot going on here. Go on.
Do you know what? Okay, so I'm going to start you off with a really easy job.
Okay.
I want you to cut open the croissants,
I can do that.
lashings of unsalted butter, and when you're doing a bread and butter pudding, the butter is so important because it's going to impart so much more flavour to the dish.
You do know there's some butter in there if they're
Absolutely.
proper croissants.
100%, but there's never too much butter. I say this all the
Okay.
time. So we're going to use unsalted for this, so you don't really want that much salt in there. Beautiful Aussie grown, grass-fed butter, 100% organic. It's delicious, and you'll taste it. So it's really important to use a good quality butter. Once you've spread butter on the inside, both sides, please. You finish it with some raspberry jam in
Okay.
each one. Raspberry running through this whole dish. Whilst I'm going to make pretty much a custard, okay? So I'm going to start off with 4 eggs. So I used to have to make, one of my jobs as an apprentice was I was working in a private members club in London, and one of the jobs I used to have to make every single day was a bread and butter pudding. Every day for 2.5 years during my apprenticeship.
So you can do this with your eyes closed.
I don't think I've made one since.
And did you make it with croissant instead of bread?
No.
Oh, it was
We
bread.
use bread. So we're gonna whisk in sugar and eggs. I love using coconut cream with this because for me, coconut, White chocolate, raspberries, they're just a match made in absolute heaven.
Yeah, I do make a custard tart that I use coconut to make the
Yeah.
coconut milk to make the custard.
I think they're just
It works.
it's beautiful, beautiful flavour pairings. So I'm just adding in a teaspoon of vanilla to this as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And now I'm going to pour in my 300 ml of coconut. So I'm using cream for this rather than milk because I want that thickness, that unctuousness to the sauce. And then our pouring cream. And then all I've got is some melted white chocolate here, which is going to add straight in as well.
Just wondering if you've ever made your own croissants.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? I much prefer to buy them.
How's it going to go? Is it worth it or is it fiddly?
Look, it is worth it, but it is very fiddly. I'm not a baker. I say this over and over. I'm a chef, I'm not a baker. If you've got the time to make it, beautiful. Okay, so we've got our custard made. We're going to finish filling these croissants. We're going to layer it all up, put the mixture in, let it soak, and then we're going to bake it. I mean, come on. If you're gonna do a pudding, do it right.
This is pudding. Now, you want me to add more to it because there's not enough in there, don't you?
You've got to glaze it. You've got to make
Alright.
it look shiny and pretty and as inviting as the smell is. I'm gonna throw in a few more fresh raspberries as well because why not? And then obviously we've got that white chocolate going through the custard already, but I'm gonna top it with just a little bit more white chocolate on top.
Of course you are. The raspberries are a healthy touch. How's that?
Yeah,
You happy?
And then we're just gonna grate beautiful ribbons of white chocolate on there.
It is a work of art. I'll give you
mean,
that.
For me, it's just a proper pudding. There you go, guys. My white chocolate and raspberry croissant bread and butter pudding.
Pretty incredible. It looks pretty incredible.
Try it.